Hi, this is Luis Souza from rawveganpower.com, and I'm very excited here today because we have a guest from Thailand. Well, actually, he is from the US, but he is in Thailand now.
You got it.
Chris Randall from RealRawResults.com. Welcome, Chris. It's so nice to have you here today and to be able to talk to you and learn something from you today.
Absolutely, it's my honor. Thanks for having me, Louis.
And I was preparing for this interview and watching your transformation, and I think we should show this to our listeners and watchers. It's fantastic. You went through a huge transformation. And tell us something about that, please, because it's so fantastic.
Mhm. Yeah, just about my transformation, how I got to where I am right now.
Yes, because you went through more than 100 pounds of weight loss. It's so amazing, and I think it's amazing your age, right? Because usually people go through that stage where you were
Mhm.
when they are older, right? And then they
Yes.
are really with lots of health issues, and well, now I have to change something. But you were very clever because you were young and you did it.
Yeah, I got lucky. I'm very thankful that I got started as early as I did. And even me, it's kind of funny people mention that. It's like even me looking at like for myself, I'm wishing that I got started much younger than I actually did. I talk to people who are in their 30s and 40s and 50s, and they're like, "Man, I would just wish I could get started when I was your age." And yeah, and so it was a big transformation for me to say the least. It was you're right. It was about 150 pounds of fat, which is somewhere in the neighborhood of about 70 kilos that I actually lost, and so that's like a good sized extra person that I was carrying around with me at all times, and it just got to the point where you just kind of keep doing the same thing day in and day out. I wasn't happy with the results. I wasn't happy with the way I was feeling or looking, anything like that. Mentally, physically, nada. Nothing was going right for me, and just decided, all right, the biggest factor, the biggest influence that has to be, making the biggest difference on this is what I eat on a daily basis. And so, times a day, started moving towards a mostly plant-based diet, basically like a high carbohydrate, low-fat vegan diet, and then that kind of just the slow progression from there got me on to more of a raw food, high carbohydrate, high fruit diet, and just been 150 pounds lighter ever since then and loving it ever since.
And how old are you now? Because you are
I
very
am,
young still.
yeah, I'm only 20
I'm
years old
sure.
right now, actually. Yeah, and I got started
22,
20 years old, actually.
20. It's so
20
great.
years old. Yeah. I got started into everything when I was about 16 years old, and then I was really about 15, 16 years old, and then really conscious of what I was doing. Like I actually knew, before I didn't even know what the word vegan meant. I just basically ate a vegan diet, and then when I was about 17 years old, I got on to, there's actually other people doing this. This is like a real thing, and that got me onto that whole thing, and then onto raw foods, everything like that. But yeah, I definitely feel really grateful for getting started as early as I did.
I interviewed some weeks ago the raw teen, and he is
Yeah,
still a teen.
yeah.
And you aren't a teen anymore, but
Not teen anymore. Yeah,
you were a teen the other day,
you
right?
got it. Yeah. That's Robert from Canada. Robert's a cool guy. Yeah. But it's so inspiring seeing, all the younger kids. Like you go to I've gone to the last two Woodstock Fruit Festivals, and in New York, and upstate New York, and I'll be going again this year, 18th to 25th of August, Woodstock Fruit Festival, and but you go there and it's like you see all these younger kids, teenagers, 15, 16, 17 years old, children with their young children with their families, and they're all excited about it and they're all passionate about it. They're reading the books, they're getting the information, they're listening to the audio, all the good stuff, and it's just instead of smoking and drinking and messing around, whatever a lot of kids their age would be doing, they're just they're running marathons and eating fruits and vegetables, and it's just a really inspiring, beautiful thing, and it gives me a lot of hope for the future for humanity anyway.
And you started this transformation in 2010 when you were 16 or 17, right?
Yeah. About 2008, 2009 was really when I got kind of started on doing what I'm doing, and then got more into like raw foods when I was about 17 years old. Now, anyway, and so yeah, it's been a good ride though.
And this is a life-changing experience for you because you transformed this experience into a whole career for you, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's the interesting thing.
So
Like,
cool.
yeah, for me, like, I wish I knew what I was doing from the beginning, like what I wanted to do in the future. Because when I was 16 years old, all I wanted to do was grow my hair out and play my guitar on stage or something like that. And so, but I didn't turn out being a rock star, unfortunately. But I wish I had documented more what I was doing from the very beginning. Because now it's like, you see other people like they knew what they wanted to do, and then 3 years later they have their before and after transformation, stuff like that. They objectively tracked everything. I didn't think to do anything like that because like I'm just doing this for myself. I'm just doing what I want to do. But then got to be about 18 years old, and it's like I think I want to do this to like for a living. I want to do this to help people and achieve similar results and help people get where they want to go. From my experiences and do my best to further my education in that way. And so yeah, it's definitely a really cool thing to be able to actually live your passion, help people get fitter and healthier, and be able to support yourself doing it. I feel really, really grateful to be
I,
able to do
I
that.
really admire you and Robert because you are so young and you are uh, being role models for your generation. And most people in your age are going to college or are already in college and usually eating crap, right?
Crap.
Because
Yeah. Yeah, they're
I
not
don't
eating good
know
food.
how we can define it, but it's not good at all,
It's
right?
not good. It's not good food. It's not good food. No, pizzas and burgers and ice cream and all sorts of crazy stuff. But yeah, it's just that's why I'm so excited about getting even like in the last 2 or 3 years, just seeing how many more young people are into like it's getting cooler to actually follow a healthy diet, like take good care of yourself, follow a healthy diet and lifestyle, and it's just really inspiring and motivating seeing all those young people really get into taking good care of themselves because they're the leaders of the future and they're the future generation. So
And
it's just really a cool thing. Yeah.
one thing that I would like to ask you, because people from my audience here in Rovigan
Yes.
Power, they are really curious about the kind of lifestyle you are having, People
Mhm.
like you who are in Thailand and you have something
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
everyone dreams of doing and never
Yeah.
how can you do that? I mean, could you share something about that? Because how many months are you in Thailand? Tell us something
Yeah.
about that, please.
Yeah. That's a good question. That's something a lot of people are definitely really interested in. And for me, this year, I'm going to be in Thailand, Southeast Asia, for about 6 months, 5, 6 months or so. And I did the same last year, actually, in 2010, 2011, 2012, excuse me. And so did that again last year, but there's different ways you can kind of go about doing it. I mean, for me, I have an online business in, vegan, raw food, nutrition, everything like that. And so I do consultations and, selling information products and stuff like that to people. And it's, so I get to, kind of make my own hours and work, I'm still spending hours and hours a day on the computer working, but it's, very flexible. I can do my own thing, and I feel really grateful to be able to be in that position. But at the same time, I do know other people who are very frugal in their lifestyle, and maybe they stay back in Canada or United States for 6 months out of the year, and they work a job on a fruit farm, or they're working at whatever they're doing, like organic co-op or something like that, where they're making money for half the year. Maybe they're renting out a place together to save on rent with some other people, and then they spend the other half of the year down here in Thailand, and so or Southeast Asia or something like that, because it's just so inexpensive to live down here. Is this thing? It's like really all you have to do is pay the cost of the plane ticket, and then once you're here, you're going to be saving money than anything you're paying back in the West anyway. And so that's the big thing. It's just kind of being frugal about what do you think is important and what you spend your money on. I mean, there's times when I've taken trips to New York City, I've like slept in my car on the side of the street and stuff like that, because it's just like, well, I mean, crack the window, it's just as good as a hotel. And different things like that. Buying my clothes at thrift shops, and not having all sorts of frivolous things, the $80, $100 Gucci pants or purse or whatever it is, anything like that. And you just kind of, especially like getting onto this sort of lifestyle, you really get tuned into what is important in your life. Your health, good food, and family and friends and loved ones around you is really what's really important. And so you kind of can start, putting more of your resources into things that really matter. And so you're not driving around your Hummer around town or something like that, cruising the strip anymore. And so you're not buying cigarettes or alcohol anymore or whatever. And so there's just all this money that's really freed up into being able to live your life's dreams, your life pursuits. And so obviously it's going to be different for everyone else's situation, but there are always little things that everyone can do to maybe, live a lifestyle more how they want to. Maybe it's even just you save up a little bit of money and, you go to Thailand for a week or two out of the year for vacation in the middle of January or something like that. There's all these little things that people can do to get them in a better place. And whether they can do exactly this person does or that person does, it's debatable, but everyone can just kind of learn to catch what's important and ultimately lead a better life as a result.
And I was watching some of your videos, and I see that durians may become a priority, right? When you are in Thailand.
Yeah.
Because, I never tasted durian, but I can see that it's good because you eat it with so much will, it's so good.
So much ambition, yeah. When you get good durian, it's literally a life-changing experience. Like 2 days ago, I have a friend, another fellow 80-10 vegan, staying down here in Thailand with me, and he was just saying like he just had like the durian that changed his life. He's like, I know what this is about now. Like my life, I'm a changed man as a result of eating this fruit. And so like literally like you have a whole other reason to wake up in the morning when you've tried good durian in Southeast Asia.
And are they cheap in Southeast Asia?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, some other friends down here in Southeast Asia, and it's just kind of like a big hub of people who can kind of gather down here. There's always a good community of people down here in Thailand, like-minded people into health and fitness and everything, and people to share a good durian feast with, and so it's definitely a good time.
And I was, I know that you have a product in your, I'm going to show it here. The top 10 biggest, fattest lies you've been told about weight loss. And
you got it.
You made a huge study on that. It's cool. There are many interesting topics that people usually, they are like myths, right? They think that it's true, but they aren't.
Yeah.
Could you tell us something about your
like lies?
Just too?
Keep that is a if you go to realresults.com, you can check it out and sign up for my e-zine. It's all you have to do, and you get it totally for free, 100%, no strings attached. And then from there, there was, when I first got started, when I was starting to lose weight myself, there were a lot of things that when I very first got started, I bought into, There's a lot of, like I said, the myths that are surrounded by eating and weight loss, everything like that. Whether it is something silly like, telling people to drink 4 glasses of water before dinner so they eat less food for dinner, or put your fork down in between bites and try to think about how full you are, something like that. All these kind of silly things, you know what I mean? Like cut your double bacon cheeseburger in half so you take the rest home for later. You know what I mean? Like all these different things.
I know what you mean.
Yeah. Everyone can relate to that, whether they are conscious of it or not. They can relate to it if they've ever been into anything like that. And so I got to looking at it. It's like this is like thrashing people's minds. This is thrashing their health. This is not a sustainable, healthy way for people to lose weight. And there's millions of people out there that's exactly what they want. There's all these different, all this crap that's been perpetuated in the weight loss industry and by everyone, well-meaning people, genuinely well-intending people, keep perpetuating and spewing this stuff out. And so I just looked at it, and it's like, man, some of this just doesn't make sense. And so let's just kind of look. It's definitely not all by my personal experience, but it's a combination of common sense and just how your body works. Because I don't care how much water you drink or how full your stomach is, you're going to be hungry a half hour later after you drink a liter of water. I don't care. I don't care what's going on. And so,
one of the lies that I really think it's interesting to mention here is that the low carb diets are best for weight loss. People think and believe that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, absolutely. And that's the thing, like, you will lose weight on a low carb diet, but you'll also lose weight if you get bowel cancer or, HIV or something like that. It's not just because you lose weight doesn't mean it's necessarily a healthy thing. And in the case of a low carb diet, you definitely can lose fat on it, but it's very much so harming your body and making you more conducive to gaining fat in the future, which is a very, you can't be so broad or so nearsighted in things like this. If you're trying to lose weight for the long term, it's definitely something to be looking at, like, how is this going to affect my body for the rest of my life? How can I be lean, fit, and healthy for the rest of my life, not just for beach season? And so, making yourself sick by eating a low carbohydrate diet and trashing your mind, I don't think is the solution to losing weight long term. And you'll see a lot of people like, even Dr. Robert Atkins died at 258 pounds and had severe atherosclerosis. All these different things, like, they're not adding up. And I'm not trying to knock people or anything like that, but it's definitely just harming people's health. And that's what I'm really passionate about, getting good information out there and saying people don't have to destroy their health, their sanity, their well-being to lose weight. You can eat all the food you care for. You just got to choose the right foods. And so for me, if you read that report, you can definitely tell, if you listen to anything that I've said before, I'm a big fan of carbohydrates and plant foods. And that's what I think it comes down to. And that's the key components for a healthy, long-lasting weight loss and a beautiful life.
One of your videos, you mentioned this. I would say that this is the ultimate low carb diet. That would be the juice fasting, right? You have no carbs at all.
Yeah, that's pretty low carb.
And it's crazy because you said something that I didn't really know, that you could get fat just fasting. It's crazy.
Yeah. That's the thing. It's like, it's kind of like it's a lot of people, they have the mentality of short-term gain, and they end up getting long-term pain as a result of that. And so if people are like fasting for several days a week in order to try to lose weight or all these different things like that, you might get that short-term gain, but it's setting yourself up for failure for that long-term, failure as a result of that, and the long-term pain. And so that's not what we want to see. And so, fasting, if you're sick or if you have a stomach, something's going on, if you fast for a few days, I'm totally cool with that. But it's when people try to fast or do like a juice cleanse or something like that to lose weight, it's just not sustainable, and it's just not going to work long term. And so, there's definitely, I'm a big fan of the holistic view of looking at health and nutrition versus just a very, narrow-sighted point of view of like, oh, well, this works to lose weight, let's do that. Now let's look and see what it does long term, how it affects all your other bodily functions first. So that's a really important thing that I think a lot of people overlook.
And have you ever gone through a juice fast?
The longest, compared to most people, like I have friends who I know who've fasted on nothing but water for 30 days or more, which is obviously under professional supervision. I would absolutely not recommend fasting unless you were under professional supervision and they deemed you in well enough shape to fast. But for myself, I did 3 days or 72 hours of absolutely nothing but water. It was about probably coming up on 8-9 months ago or so, and it's kind of a funny story. I got back from Lumpur, Malaysia, and I just literally been feasting on durian for about 2 or 3 months. And I got off the plane, or my flight left in the evening, so I went to an all-you-can-eat durian buffet in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. Absolutely just stuffed myself with durian until I was almost sick. Got on the plane and got home, and I was just like, I had no appetite for like 3 or 4 days, and so I was just like, all right, I'm just going to sit in my butt and rest, and I drank nothing but water for 72 hours, and I felt better as a result of it afterwards. But it's definitely not something that I would do on a regular basis. It's like, oh, I stubbed my toe, I'm going to fast for 3 days, you know what I mean? It's like with your body and what it's asking for, and feeling comfortable enough with yourself and the knowledge of nutrition and your own body to feel comfortable doing something like that. When 72 hours or so without being under supervision or having a real reason to do something like that.
What would be your first advice for someone who may be thinking about the raw food diet? What would be a good start for them?
What would be a good start? You know, figure out where you want to go. Like, figure out what your goals are is the big thing, and then as a result of that, look and see what it's going to take to get you where you want to go. And so if someone's looking at like a raw food diet or something like that, and their goal is to eat healthy, all right, well, that's a good thing. Like, I know when I got started and I wanted to be healthy, I got convinced, or I convinced myself that I needed all these crazy supplements and all sorts of things like that. I mean, if you take a few supplements, that's your thing, whatever. But when it gets to the point where there are people out there who will convince you that you literally need hundreds and hundreds of dollars of supplements per month to be healthy, and they prey on people's fears and doubts like that, it's very easy to get conned into something like that when you're very first getting started. And so definitely be very, you know, be willing to think for yourself in that respect of like, okay, does this make sense? Let's look at all points of view, and let's go with what makes sense in my head and what I feel is right in my heart. And so versus just going and taking one person's advice and so under any circumstances not necessarily listening to anyone.
And you have,
You will
well, that's bad. I think. You have a mentoring program as well, right? How does that work?
yeah. I do one-on-one mentoring and health coaching, weight loss coaching with people, and you can check out my website. There's in the top of the website. There's a mentoring or health coaching link. Just check it out there.
I will
And what?
show it.
Cool. Thanks, man. But anyway, so how that works is basically just you can send me email on my business email that's right on there, and let me know kind of what your goals are. Again, that's the very first thing I focus on is how can I help you get where you want to go, and because obviously you can't force someone to go somewhere they don't really want to go, and so it's just a matter of working with people on a one-on-one basis and finding out what it is they want and how I can help them attain that. And so through personal experience or the knowledge that I might have. And so so whether it's fitness routine or help with social situations and changing their diet, or the emotional and sides of making drastic changes to your diet, all those things that really encompass into making huge changes in your diet, that's I'm able to help with people one-on-one. And I know for myself, being able to, having someone like that one-on-one to work with to reassure me about things would have been incredibly helpful to me. And so I think for people, just having that kind of that partner, that buddy to work with them through all the times that change, making changes with their diet, especially something as drastic or out of the norm as a predominantly raw diet or vegan diet or anything like that. And so having that one-on-one support with someone to reassure you of things and be able to ask questions to can really make all the difference. And so, yeah, it's definitely a good thing.
Well, we know that the raw vegan movement is growing and many
Yes.
people are trying and so on. How do you see the future? Maybe, well, this question would be a little personal as well. How do you see yourself inside the raw vegan movement in 10 years, let's say?
10 years, interesting. 10 years from now, man. Yeah, I'll be 30 years old then.
Yeah.
10 years from now, well, first of all, for the raw vegan movement, the vegan movement as a whole, I see it growing exponentially. Like even just from something like in the United States anyway, from like 2009 to 2012, I remember the population of vegans in the United States literally doubled from like 2.5% to 5%. That was just astonishing in its own right. And so there's all these people that are slowly but surely becoming more conscious of the food they're eating, becoming more conscious of their health and animals and health of the planet, everything involved. And so I'm really excited about that. Like I said, I see it growing exponentially. And people just eventually, people just kind of do what works. And people want to feel good, they want to look good, they want to perform well in their daily tasks or their sport or whatever it is they do. And I think people are starting to realize that kind of, they're just been getting by with what they're doing, but they could be doing a lot better. And I think people are becoming more conscious of that, and ultimately that's what's really going to drive the majority of people to make these changes to more of a plant-based diet or raw food diet, more fresh foods in their diet. And so I definitely just see that growing, and especially the the movement with the emphasis on the importance of carbohydrates and fruit in one's diet, because I think that's the big thing, that fresh food factor, and not so much the crazy supplements and stuff like that, but more of a focus on fresh whole foods. I think being the big focus on that. And so for myself, 10 years from now, just seeing, just kind of pretty much doing what I'm doing now, but on a more grand scale. Television shows and talk show radios and Oprah Winfrey or whoever's on television nowadays, anything like that. But just seeing things get better and better and better. I'm looking forward to being there for it.
I was hearing you, and I was wondering if someday we will have some fast food stores that will sell just fruits, for instance. That would be cool, right?
That'd be cool. That would be excellent. I know. I keep imagining, in my head, you can go to a corner store at any 7-Eleven in the world, and you can get a 2-liter Coca-Cola and a microwave hot dog or whatever, something like that. Right. In the future, I keep seeing in my mind, instead of having the slushies, they'll have just a big banana, 100% banana smoothie on tap, and you can that can be your big gulp, or all these different things like that, organic raisins and dates and stuff like that in the packs to go or something like that. So I definitely see things like that becoming more and more real. As silly as that sounds, there are vegan fast food restaurants, strictly vegan fast food restaurants now. It's becoming a reality. I think it'll just becoming more and more real across the world as people are really kind of getting cued in on, all the good times can be had eating more plants.
The irony is that there are no faster food than fruits, right? I mean,
yes. you peel it and you eat it. The longest time it takes is waiting for your bananas to ripen or something like that, or waiting for your durian to ripen up just perfectly. But other than that, man, when it's there and it's ready, you're just ready to go right there. Exactly. Fast food, man.
Well, thank you so much for coming here. And now I have my last question to you.
Do it up.
And comparing the person you were before, okay, mm-hmm. and the person you are now, what would be your raw vegan power in one sentence?
One sentence. What is my raw vegan power?
Yeah.
Wow. One sentence. I'm a guy who likes to talk, so putting me to one sentence is difficult.
maybe a long sentence anyway.
Long sentence. I would say health and compassion, empathy, and strength, I guess. Would really be all it is, because before, that's my sentence, and now I'll explain it. Coming from where I was before, I wasn't confident within myself. I didn't, thinking back now, I wish I could have those years back to be a more compassionate, conscious person to other people, to go out of my way to lift people up. You know what I mean? Because we're all in this together, man. So at the very least, we got to support each other no matter what's going on. And it seems like just so many times, a lot of people, they get so caught up in their own head games, whatever else is going on in their life, they kind of lose sight or lose track of lifting other people up. And so that's one thing that I think I'm more cued in on now, and I'm still improving on in that as well. But okay, what can I do today? Or let's just look for instances to help other people, and just lift other people up, because that's going to lift you up, and it's just a win-win situation for absolutely everyone. So that compassion, that love for life, is definitely the biggest change for me. And so if I had to pick one word for my raw vegan power, it would probably be compassion. Absolutely.
Great answer. Thank you so much for that.
Thanks, man. Absolutely.
I'm making these questions to every guest I have here because everyone has his or her own experience, but it's a huge transformation. It's something. Raw foods make a huge difference. And it seems like being Superman and Clark Kent, right?
Yes, exactly. It's like the cake just comes out, and yeah, absolutely. It's just just going from eating a bad diet, or maybe a lot of people were before. You were always that amazing, astonishing, wonderful person. It was always in you, but sometimes the lifestyle choices that people choose to make it kind of it hampers true potential, shackles your true potential. And so when you get onto a healthier diet, lifestyle, positive thinking, everything like that, your true potential is really out there, you know. So you're not necessarily a changed person, but you're more of the person than you were before because you allowed it to come free. Is really what it comes down to, I think.
Well, I said that the other one was my last question, but just came into my mind another question that
Do it.
I think the raw vegan girls would like to know if
Mm-hmm.
you are single, you have a girlfriend or something, because I'm sure they like what they are seeing now with this transformation. You are surely a handsome guy, and what do we have
Thank you.
to tell our feminine audience here?
Feminine audience, absolutely. As of right now, I definitely have a vegan girl that is very, very, very special to me, and she means a lot to me. And so I'm that's where I'm at with things right now. But I wish everyone else the best of luck. And so, but that's where I'm at with things. So sorry
Okay.
about that, guys.
That's cool. That's cool. Well,
Yeah.
girls, thank you so much, Chris. It was so fantastic to talk to you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
It was an awesome time. Thank you so much for having me. It was my honor.
Thank you. Well, and you who are watching, go now to realrawresults.com and see all the great stuff that you can get from Chris Randall. And you girls, sorry, but he is already taken.
Hey,
Bye,
you know,
Chris.
all
Oh,
right, see you guys.
tell him. If you want to say something, please do it. Do it.
Oh no, no, I was gonna say there's so many. It's just really beautiful for me seeing all the because I know there's a lot of people out there they want to have like a like-minded partner, a vegan girlfriend or boyfriend, whatever it might be, and just like once you just put it out there what you want, you know, you're gonna find it out there because there's just once you, especially with the power of the internet, like right now, like I'm in Chanaburi, Thailand, and you're in Brazil somewhere right now, and we're sitting here talking in real time. It's just mind blowing. You know, it's just so much easier nowadays finding like-minded people like that you can have meaningful relationships with, whether it's a partner or just friends and family, whatever it is, you know. But you know, just getting out there and making it known what you want, I think is really important. So definitely always keep that in mind for anyone watching.
Thank you so much, Chris. It's very inspiring hearing from you. So fantastic. You are a wise guy, and I see a great future for you. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Bye
Thanks, man. I
bye.
appreciate that. All right, cheers, guys.